Becoming self-disciplined is not as hard as you might think if you know how to set yourself up for the best success. Today, we're going to talk about how to become more self-disciplined to attain your desires in an easier fashion. Let's go get that nugget. Welcome, ladies, to the Life Mastery for Women podcast. I'm Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind, your host. This is where we go to learn to master our life one nugget at a time. Hey, ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you self-disciplined. If you're not self-disciplined, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So welcome to today's episode. I love talking about these big, huge ideas that the only way to achieve your goal is by blah, blah, blah. And I love taking that idea and chunking it down into simple yet powerful techniques and steps to make that process a lot easier. I want my life to be easier. I like having challenges that I feel like I can overcome. But when those challenges seem like I'm just not going to get there, then of course I feel a little bit more defeated. So when we talk about self-discipline, that is pretty much any single goal that you could put on your plate, whether that's making more money or finding the career or going after a career that you want or doing some big project in your home, you want to lose some weight. Sometimes we feel like we need to have stronger willpower. Self-discipline is different than willpower. Willpower is just the ignition. It's just turning the switch. The self-discipline is the motor, and then you need all the other parts and pieces to get the car to move, right? You need wheels, you need the combustion, you need gas and oil and whatever else you need to get a car to move. But the willpower is a very short little burst of energy that is about focusing your energy on the task to help you achieve whatever said goal. So discipline, self-discipline, is the ability to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions to attain something, to achieve something. If you're on this planet and you're listening to anything that's like this kind of a podcast, like a personal development podcast, that means you're ready, you're going somewhere, you're looking for something. I suggest that you find out what that something is. I suggest that you figure out what is it that you're after? What is it that you're looking for? What goal is at hand? And if you don't really have one, let's figure one out. Let's figure out where you are in each of the stages of developing your whole being on this planet. So if you look at the areas of health, wealth, and relationships, how are you in all of those? Well, and spirituality is the fourth one, but I find more people spend more time on health, wealth, and relationships than they do on spiritual connection. But that is definitely something that can help you get all of the other things in line. So when you look at your health, how is your health? How do you feel? How does your physical body feel? How do you feel in your physical body? And this is further than just looks and weight, but how are all the systems running in your body? And how is your emotional state and your mental state? Those are all parts of your health. Because you might have the sexiest body on the planet, but you might be dealing with anxiety or depression. Well, then you're not a 10 in the area of health. Then look at your wealth. Your wealth is your money, but it's also how you make your money. Like, again, you could be the richest person on the planet, but hate how you make your money. You could be an all-time New York City lawyer and you're making millions of dollars, but you hate that. You would rather have a garden and live in Idaho. So that doesn't create happiness. Money doesn't create happiness. Doing what you love creates happiness in the body that you love. And the last one is with the people that you love. So that also includes you. When I talk about relationships, when I was a personal trainer, one of the main focuses I had with my clients, that the perspective shift that I helped most of them, not all of them, but most of them to gain, is your relationship with you. If you don't feel like you like yourself or deserve to have a healthy body, you're not going to have one. Like I remember on, weighing day, which was Monday. I think was it every Monday? I think it was every Monday. And then we did measurements at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. Every Monday we weighed, and a couple of them would be like, okay, I lost or I didn't lose or I gained or whatever. And they would be okay with it. Be like, oh man, that sucks. I gained a pound this week, but I'm going to stick to it. I know why I did, and so I'm going to work it out. So it was like a course correction. Somebody else would get on the scale, gain a pound, and be like, man, I'm so stupid. I can't believe that I went out. My friends came into town. I went to this restaurant. I had a burger. I had fries. I had 6 beers. Oh my God. And then the next day, we went out to breakfast and holy crap. And they just dog on themselves. And I would want to say something to that person right there. How encouraging are you being? When we talk about self-discipline, when we see the word discipline, we think of, a parent with a child and disciplining them. It doesn't have a very positive feeling to it. So I say, how about it's self-focused or it's self-mastery? Ooh, as that fits right into my podcast theme, life mastery for women. How about self-mastery? Yeah. I don't know about you, but that kind of excites me. It's changing this whole theme around, even though I'm going to bring you in to listen to this podcast because you're going to love the title is self-discipline, but I'm going to change it from right this moment to self-mastery. Let me know in the comments, wherever you're listening to this podcast, if you like the word self-mastery, because I love that word. Like that really excites me. And not only does it excite me, but it elevates my thinking to becoming more. To pushing myself just a little bit more to become something better. That excites me. Self-disciplined, immediately when I think of that, I think I have to give up stuff. I have to stop doing things. I have to start doing things I don't like. I have to, it's just like, like I said, quote, you're like disciplining a child into cleaning his room. Well, he doesn't want to clean his room. He doesn't want to clean up after himself. He doesn't want to wear his coat to school. He doesn't want to be responsible for his notebook and his pencils, right? And it's like discipline has that negative feeling. So just like when I used to tell my clients, it's like, you're not losing weight. You're stepping into a stronger body. And when they would say, oh, I just got to go to the gym because I got to lose weight, it's a negative focus, but you're wanting a positive outcome. Always think of, as you are taking on new things, is to look at things in a positive or negative light. And what I mean by that is, am I, this goal that I want, why do I want it? Is it positive or negative? Am I trying to move towards something or away from something? If I'm trying to move away from something, you're focusing on the negative. If I'm trying to move away from not having money or not having a great job, that's negatively focused, but you want a positive outcome. Those are two different polarities. So I say, okay, you hate your job? Great. What job do you want? If you could cut it all right now, keep the income, but you want to create the new job, it's getting you focused on something that's exciting. If you want to lose 20 or 50 or 100 pounds, and I go, okay, why do you want to lose that weight? What is the thing that's exciting to you? So that leads me into the very first step. But first, before we get into the steps, because I think I remembered after about 19 podcasts, let's call back our energy as we talk about life mastery, and we're going to talk about self-mastery. Let's get our energy ready to create. So when we call back our energy, that is about closing all of the mental tabs and becoming present in this very moment. So, and this is, again, I love having the conversations, and I love that you're here and that you're listening to me. And as I am recording in my living room and I'm watching my dog sleep and it's kind of yucky and rainy and cold outside, that I appreciate you being here with me, even if it's just a little bit in the future. So please be with me right now. Take a deep breath in and just call back all of your energy from all of the tabs, all the mental tabs that are open on all the problems, the doubts, the worries, all the things that feel impossible to you right now. Call all of that energy back, bring it back into your heart space, closing those tabs, becoming present, feeling your body as it's sitting on the furniture, your feet flat on the floor, connecting you to Mother Earth and being guided by source energies. We get in this present moment, we are opening our hearts and allowing source energy to guide us. And by putting our feet flat on the floor, we are connecting to Mother Earth and allowing her to support us fully in our endeavors, no matter what they are, no matter what it is that you're trying to create. So it's kind of fun and exciting to be in the space, to be here, to call back your energy. It feels so good. I just love it. I know that I keep saying I want to do it for every podcast, and I do keep forgetting, but I'm pretty wound up right now. I did have a cup of coffee. So now, self-discipline, self-mastery is the life goal, in my opinion. This is what we are here to do, is to master ourselves. And then from there, as we are mastering ourselves, we get to now create from that space. But we can't create if we're not masters of ourselves. And we have problems, we have struggles, we have challenges. And in order to overcome, we have to master that. We have to master our emotional state. We have to master our thoughts. We have to overcome those limiting beliefs. We have to master our thoughts in that way that if I'm saying that I can't do it, I'm going to be right. But if I say that I can do it, I'm also right. This is where we start working with the energy that is the clean slate, that is the artwork of our life, the tapestry of our life. So not moving the physical around, but is working at this energy level, which is everything I say in every podcast. Is everything is energy, but the things that are already there, that are already in front of you, that's already manifest. We now need to work in the energy field. This is when our life opens up to the possibility of things shifting and changing for us. Like, we can lose the weight, we can find the relationship, we can find the career, we can bring in the money, we can do all those things, but we have to do a few things first. Mastering our physical form, but also learning to connect to Mother Earth and Source Energy is really our team. That's our team of people. Look at any business out there, and every business owner has a team of people who are working for the big vision. And you are the big vision, whatever it is you want to create while you're here on this planet. And your team is Mother Earth and Source Energy. That's your intimate team. And then, of course, it goes out to other human beings, right? But it is so important to understand that you can create from where you are. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to create. It doesn't matter where you are at this moment. Energy has this ability to create miracles in a very short period of time. I see it all the time. I hear about stories all the time after I get off phone calls with my coaching clients that they're telling me these things of what it is we just talked about on the call. And then now all of a sudden they get a phone call and they get the job that they want. They get that insurance check in the mail. They sell the house. The selling the house was a big deal. Like, I remember working with a couple different clients that were like, oh my gosh, we're sitting on our house for 6 months. We just can't do it. We do a visual, we do a clearing, and not kidding, they get an offer that night or the next day. It's that fast. So I want you to understand the possibility. Like, get excited about the possibility. But self-mastery is the first step. Now, mastering yourself, we talk about all the time. We talk about our thoughts. Now, we don't keep track of every single thought that we have. There's 60 to 90 thoughts a day. 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. I'm not asking you to keep track of all of them. I'm asking you to keep track of like a general version of them. What is my general idea about this thing? So take your goal that you want to achieve something. You take your goal and then you go, what is my general thought about achieving this goal? Is it generally positive or generally negative? If it's generally negative, like, I really want this goal, but I don't think I'm good enough to get it. I really want this goal, but I have no idea how I'm going to get it. I really want this goal, but it just seems like too much work. That's generally negative. You're kinking the hose. You're not going to get the goal. Going to the gym begrudgingly to lose weight is not going to work with the energy to get the goal. You're kinking the hose. But if you're going to the gym to work out because you want to feel better, because you love yourself enough to give yourself optimum health, no matter where you're at, you're going to be a lot more excited to get up in the morning and go work out and to be fully present for yourself. That's what we're talking about. I remember when I've always been in fitness for a very, very long time. I've done lots and lots of different things in the fitness field. I was a gym teacher, 2 different schools. I was a recreation assistant. At a camp, I've taught lots of games and like icebreakers and team building games at different organizations. You know, when I did my speaking career, I led a boot camp. I was a personal trainer, and the boot camp is not in the military. It was an outdoor boot camp. We went to 4 different parks every month, and we worked out there 4 days a week for an hour on all these different surfaces, like hills and sand and in the water and on the grass, and it was a lot of fun. Like really honing in on the physical aspect. But once I switched when I kind of flipped the switch, and I'm realizing that I did a case study with these 2 women in my boot camp, and one of them lost 80 pounds in like 6 months. And the other one lost like 10 pounds in 6 months, in the same 6 months, 4 days a week, coming in same age. The only difference is one woman had 2 kids and one woman did not have any. But the one who had 2 kids, she's the one who lost the 80 pounds. But I did notice one thing. Their attitude was very, very different from one another. And as I started to dive into their attitude, I'm like, that kind of is a big deal. Like my mom would say something like, you know, how are you going to do on your spelling test? And we just worked all night. I'm like, I'll probably fail. And she goes, well, you're not going to get an A with that attitude. She would say those things, but she didn't really understand the bottom line behind that. Is having a great attitude towards your goal is working with the energy. That is getting in the flow, getting excited about your goal. So I remember wanting to do a triathlon for a long, long time. And I just never did it. And I'm just like, I really want to. I would watch them on TV. I would go to a couple that were in town. I had some friends who were running them, and they're like, oh my God, it's so much fun. You would totally love it. And I'm like, I just don't think that I would be able to do it. I just think it would be really hard to train for it. Well, then all of a sudden, I was watching an Ironman. It was the Alcatraz Ironman that's in San Francisco, California. And they start on the island. I think they start on the island and they swim or somewhere out there. They don't start actually on the island. I think they start near the island on a ship, on a boat, and they jump off and they swim to shore. And then they do the bike. And if you've ever been in San Francisco, I mean, it's a very, very hilly city. So they do the bike and then they end with a run. And I remember watching this Ironman and getting really excited. And I remember watching this one woman who was running, and they're kind of telling her story. And she was older. She was probably in her 60s. And she did a couple 5Ks. I think she did a couple marathons and was training and stuff. And she goes, I just want to change it up. And as she's telling her story, I'm getting more and more excited about doing it. And I'm like, okay, when that show was done and I heard that woman's story and I watched that Ironman, all of a sudden I was really excited. And I said, I am going to do a triathlon. Now, I did not do an Ironman. I really don't have any desire to do the full Ironman, which is, it's like I don't remember what the swim is. I want to say if it's an Ironman, it's a bigger swim. It's probably a freaking 5-mile swim. And then it's like it's a century ride, which is 100 miles on the bike. And then it's a full marathon. Well, I have zero desire to run anything longer than like a 5K. The longest I've literally ever run in my life at one point was 5 miles. And that's it. I'm good with that. So, but I got excited about this and I did a sprint, which was it's like a half a mile swim, this one particularly was a 12-mile bike and then a 5K. Not a big deal, right? Some of you are probably like, oh my God, Jen, like what's the freaking big deal? I'm not sure. But as soon as I got excited, anything that was lingering, that was anything like I can't do it or it's going to be too hard work, didn't matter. I just all of a sudden jumped right into training. It was so much fun. I lost weight. I was feeling amazing. It was just this thing that just lit me up inside. And that's what I want for you. But then self-mastery was the foundation that I stood on. I had to do training. I couldn't just join the race. I had several months before the race was coming, and I had the rest of the summer. And of course the winter in northern Michigan is pretty brutal. So there's not a lot of biking and you can run a little bit, but when the snow hits, it's very tough. But I have a treadmill and I have a bike. And, so I did most of that stuff, of course, indoors. And then of course, coming out probably late March and then, April. And then that particular triathlon was in May. And I did all this training. Well, I was just feeling amazing. Like the outside results were so cool because I'm like, I didn't mean to lose weight, but I did. That's just what happens. You're just exercising. You're doing all of these things and your body's adapting. I just became more and more excited because of all of the other outcomes that I was getting were even more so than I just want to do this triathlon. So, but I had to master my thinking about it. And then I had to master my emotional state, because there were times where I'm like, I have to get up early and I have to ride, and then I have to run right after. They're called bricks. And I have to ride and I have to run right after, or then I have to go swimming and then I have to ride after. And I had to master my emotions where I'm like, I don't really want to do it. Then what I would do is I would think about the triathlon. I would think about wearing the number on my jersey. I would think about the transitions going from the swim to the bike and the bike to the run. And I was thinking about the race itself and the excitement of running with all of these other people. And that would get me excited again. And now my emotions are back in line, and boom, off I go out the door with my bike. So those are kind of the steps, actually. So the first is creating the goal, but getting to the point of why you want the goal. So much so that it excites you. This is where we manage our emotions. If someone just goes, oh, my doctor says I need to lose 10 pounds. Okay, we'll see you at the gym. No, you're not going to see that person at the gym. But if that person comes and goes, you know what? I love myself enough that I want to lose 10 pounds because I want to feel better. I want to get sexy. I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to go on this. I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going on vacation, and we're going to hike part of the Appalachian Trail, or we're going to go to Bryce Canyon, or we're going to go somewhere. We're going to kayak down, we have a Manistee River. We're going to kayak and camp, and we're going to hike in Isle Royal, and I need my body to be tip-top shape because of this vacation, because I'm excited, because I want to do this thing. Okay? When that person gets excited, they will overcome every obstacle. You know, it's like there's a famous quote: a dog on the hunt doesn't care about his fleas. He's on the hunt. So just like somebody who is on the hunt, they are in the flow, they are moving towards their goal. They don't care about sleep. They don't care about TV. They don't care about ho-hos and ice cream. They care about their goal. And they are on the hunt. And 5 o'clock in the morning is not enough time. I'm going to get up at 4:30. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go. I'm going to go get that thing. And everything that's in my way, I'm going to overcome. Every challenge, every obstacle, I'm going to overcome that. So when your why is big enough, you will overcome anything. So the very first step is I want you to think about your goal, and then I want you to dive deeper, asking yourself why you want it. And then you're going to come up with something and you go, why do you want that? Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Keep going until you get to something that is so big and juicy that you are like fired up, ready to go. From there, thinking of your plan. What am I going to do to achieve this goal? So going back to the gym, I remember having this conversation with a client, and I must have been taking a break, a week off or something. We have a holiday or something in the summer, and we're closed for the week because there's lots of festivals and lots of stuff going around in our town. And so we're taking a week off, and she goes, okay. She goes, well, what am I going to do to keep going? And I said, well, what do you want to do? She goes, immediately. I said, what do you want to do? And she goes, I hate the gym. I'm like, I didn't ask what you hated. I asked what you want to do. And she goes, I hate the gym. And I'm like, okay, well, don't go to the gym. And she goes, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? And she goes, well, isn't that how I have to like keep up, my strength and whatever? I'm like, well, no. I'm like, you could do just about anything. I said, well, what do you like? And she goes, I love kayaking and I love running. I'm like, perfect. Do that. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, well, why don't you just do that? Go for a run. It's just a week. Go for a run and maybe kayak in the afternoon, or go for a run in the morning and kayak the next day or something. I mean, you're talking about lower body numbers. She goes, I don't have to go to the gym. No. If you don't want to go to the gym, don't go to the gym. So when you think of your why and you look beneath it and you get really excited, is now what are the steps that you're going to do to get that thing? And if immediately you think of how other people got it and you go, well, I don't want to do that, you're going to have to figure out your own plan. Figure out your own plan of how you want to achieve it. And if that plan fits into the same excitement level, then you're on to something. I remember when I had boot camp, I had a morning boot camp. I had a 7 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. And my 7 o'clock was 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was at this park where there was a local pool and a track. And so I'm like, okay, so after boot camp, I'm going to go over to the pool and swim. I was training for the triathlon. I'm going to go over there and swim, and then I'm going to run the track, and then I'm going to drive home, and then I'll ride. I did 3 of the disciplines in one day. It was amazing, and it fit into my schedule. I loved doing it. I thought it was really cool. I thought it felt fun. It was perfect. We worked out at this park that had the pool right there and the track. It was perfect. So when you create your steps, make sure the steps are also in alignment. Don't plant things in your garden that you don't want. Plant things in your garden that you want to enjoy. So whatever your goal is plant. Whatever your goal is create the steps that create the same amount of success. And then it's about practicing as often as you're supposed to, whatever that means. Do it daily, do it 15 times a day, whatever the discipline is. Mine was, it was like 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days, 1 day. And so I did that. And even on the weekends, it's Sunday and I have to go run. I have to go for a bike ride. I have to do something. But if you start to feel that you are slipping a little bit, where now you're like kind of wanting to give up on that goal, is to go back to the why. Why do I want this? And will I do the work? You have to reignite. You have to reignite the fire. Do I still want this goal? And it might be different. It might be a different goal. You might start out going, I want to lose 20 pounds, but then you lose 17 pounds and you're like, I think I'm good. Or do I want to lose the last 3 pounds? I think I'm good. I'm in the size that I want. I might weigh the same, but I'm in the size that I wanted to be in. The clothes that I'm wearing, I feel amazing. Okay, well then now just stay at 17, right? So whatever it is, think of those steps. They should also have that same level of excitement. Mastering your thoughts is going to be key here. So I already kind of touched on this in the beginning, but having that I can do it attitude. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I want this thing that bad. I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm on my way. I have the will power to ignite the switch and then the concentration and the focus to do it. The mastery, the discipline, right? I'm going to keep looking at this thing. Now make sure that when you're looking at it, that it feels positive. And then I'm going to ask a couple extra things here. One is that you connect to source energy and Mother Earth for guidance, for next steps, to put the people in, if you need some accountability, if you need a team, if you need some cheerleaders, that they will put those people in your way, in a good way. Put those people on your team as you're moving along. When I was doing my boot camp and I would go swimming in the morning, after class, I had a boot camper that was doing my 7 o'clock class. And she's like, I freaking love swimming. She goes, I'll go with you. And so we would do class. I'm teaching it. She's one of my clients. And then we would go and swim afterwards together. And she ended up doing the race with me. It was awesome. And so then I had who was my vet back then, the dog's vet. She ended up doing the race with us. And so she would do the biking with us. And it just kind of happened naturally, is that my team just kind of came around and we started working this out together. And it was really exciting. So having the visualization, so creating the thing, when I have it, what am I going to look like? Who am I going to be? What am I going to have? And how is that fitting into my life and creating that excitement? Then getting connected to Mother Earth, just getting grounded, getting centered, calling back your energy, and then getting to work. The next is, as you are connecting to source energy, if you just don't feel like going, here's some times I'd be laying in bed, I'm like, oh, it's rainy and crappy out and I have to go ride in this, or I have to go for a run. I would lay in bed and I would think about my goal. And this is like getting in the right headspace, thinking about my goal. And then it's cold out there and it's warm in my bed, but how am I going to feel when I get back? I have to go for a 15-mile ride this morning and it's rainy and it's cold. How am I going to feel when I get back? How is that hot, warm shower going to feel when I get to come back after 15 miles? How is that going to feel? And as I'm laying there and I'm asking myself this question, I am disciplining my mind to think towards the goal. Instead of my mind going, it's really warm in this bed. You could do it tomorrow. Let's look at the weather. Oh, it's nice tomorrow. Why don't we do it tomorrow? It's really warm, right? Your mind doesn't want you to go. Your mind wants you to stay in comfort and relaxation. So if you want to move, if you want to change something, you have to come out of comfort and relaxation, which is where your mind wants to keep you. So you have to elevate your thinking. You have to elevate your being and your thoughts to the place that you are wanting to go. You can't go there if your mind is in charge, and you can't go there if your mind is like, dude, we're going to stay in bed. Because I'm telling you, staying in bed is not going to get you your goals. So, can-do attitude, thinking of self-mastery, mastering your thoughts, mastering your emotions, mastering your actions, and you're going to get any goal. Wherever you're listening to this, come over or in the comments, tell me what your goal is and tell me how exciting it is for you. Or come over to my Facebook group, Lady Rising, and I would love to hear that you've listened to this, that you're becoming a master of your own fate and you're taking charge of achieving this goal. I would love to hear what you're doing. I'd love to hear what the goal is, and I'd love to read all about your story. So hope to see you soon, and we'll see you in the next episode. Wow, that may have felt like a lot of information in today's episode, but if you're looking for support and a deeper knowledge of what we talked about today, then let's connect. You can learn more about how I work and how you can work with me. Send me an email to the meditationroomtc@gmail.com, subject line, let's talk. And in the meantime, you can join my online Facebook community, Lady Rising, and mention that you came in through the podcast. I look forward to supporting you and connecting with you there.